What's up, Bears fans? Let's talk about it. Because the buzz around Howler's Hall just got a little louder. The Chicago Bears have finally dropped their first unofficial depth chart of the preseason, and yeah, it's already stirring up. Plenty of conversations. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions or starts throwing helmets across the room, take a breath. Ben Johnson himself said it best. This stage of training camp is all about competition. Nobody's job is locked in, and the chart is more of a snapshot than a final judgment. But come on, let's not act like we're not going to dissect this thing to pieces. According to Johnson, every player is still fighting to earn a role, whether that's on offense, defense, or even just clinging to a spot on the final 53. And that message, it was loud and clear. Don't obsess over where your name is slotted just yet. Not when we haven't even had a joint practice or played a single preseason snap. Still, there are a few details that popped off the page, things that'll definitely raise some eyebrows. Some position battles seem settled, but others far from it. Let's start with that left tackle position, where Braxton Jones is once again listed as the starter over Azi Trapilo. And here's the kicker. Just one day after I moved Braxton down on my own projection, he bounces right back to the top. Classic. Trapilo is now the backup, and behind him, Kieran Amagaji shows up as the reserve right tackle, which is surprising considering he's been mostly working on the left side during that three-man rotation. That might suggest his absence over the past few practices has started narrowing this battle down to just two guys. We'll know more after that joint practice against the Dolphins, but here's something to remember. Despite Braxton getting listed first here, it's been Trapilo who's actually spent more time with the first team in camp. Braxton has been ramping up slowly after recovering from ankle surgery, but he's been full go recently. That's where the debate really begins. Has the coaching staff seen enough from Braxton to reinsert him as the presumed starter? Or is this just more motivation to push the rookie a bit harder? If you look across the board, it feels like the entire rookie class is being forced to prove themselves. No gifts, no freebies. Now, let's talk about the wide receiver room. Luther Burden III is a name that's been hyped since draft day, and yet on this chart he's buried, not just behind Olamide Zaccheaus, but also behind Devin Duvernay. Yeah, that caught me off guard too. The order goes DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, then Zaccheaus, Duvernay, and finally Burden. After that, you've got names like Miles Boykin, Tyler Scott, Morris Alexander, Samori Toure, John Jackson, J.P. Richardson, and John A. Walker. And look, I'm not here to slam Duvernay. The guy's a pro, brings special teams value. But based on what we've seen in practices and heard from inside the building, Burden is the more explosive talent. Sure, he missed the first 4 practices, and that probably plays a role in his current slot. Johnson even admitted that Burden is still catching up mentally with the playbook, but ever since he's been back on the field, the guy has shown why he was taken in the second round. He's making plays, showing chemistry with the quarterbacks, and reminding everyone exactly who he is. So yeah, it's a little weird seeing him listed as WR5. But if you're asking me, that's not where he'll finish. That's just where the coaches want him to start, earning every inch. Now, when it comes to WR3, the real battle might be between Zaccheaus and Burden. And I'll be honest, Zaccheaus has been one of the most consistent players in camp. He's reliable, crisp in his routes, and brings a veteran presence to the locker room. If Burden wants that WR3 spot, he's going to have to take it. Nothing will be handed to him. And that seems to be the recurring theme this year. Let's move to cornerback now, where Tyreek Stevenson is listed ahead of Terrell Smith and Deshaun Wright. This competition has been pretty neck and neck, especially between Stevenson and Wright. Jaylon Johnson's injury opened the door for both to get more reps, and both have flashed at times. But for now, Stevenson is at the top. What's interesting here is what Ben Johnson said recently about him, that Tyreek plays with that edge, that swagger, that fire. Sometimes maybe a little too much talking, but that's part of the deal. It's about channeling that energy the right way, knowing when to unleash it and when to hold back. The raw talent is there. Now it's about refining it. One situation still unresolved is Zay Frazier, who remains out due to a personal matter. On this initial depth chart, he's listed as a 4th stringer, and realistically, he's not among the top 6 corners right now. That puts his roster spot in serious jeopardy. Maybe he starts the season on the NFI list. Maybe they stash him and hope he clears waivers. But for a 5th round pick, it's definitely a concerning development, especially when you remember how promising he looked in spring. At linebacker, there's a quiet but interesting shift happening. Noah Sewell seems to be sliding into the Sam linebacker spot, the one left open after Jack Sanborn was let go. And it's not just about potential. We heard all the way back during OTAs that Sewell was in shape, trimmed down, looked quicker. That work seems to be paying off. Right now, he's clearly the 3rd linebacker behind TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. And here's something else. Rookie Ian Ogbogbaum is listed ahead of Ruben Hippolyte. That might be more about special teams than defensive impact, but it's another nod to the message the staff is sending. No rookie is safe, no matter how good your OTAs looked. You have to show up in pads. You have to show up now. Speaking of the defense, let's address the 5-man front. Yeah, the Bears actually listed 5 starting defensive linemen on this chart, which is a little unorthodox. Montez Sweat and Dio Dayingbo on the edges, and then Grady Jarrett, Jervon Dexter, and Andrew Billings inside. At first glance, it might seem like overkill. Like, what are we doing here, naming 5 starters on the line? But when you dig deeper, it kind of makes sense. Sweat mentioned in an interview recently that Dennis Allen has been mixing in different fronts. Traditional 4-man lines, some 3-man looks, and yes, even 5-man sets in certain packages. So maybe this isn't about labeling 5 starters. Maybe this is just a way of saying, these are the 5 guys we trust most on the line right now. And honestly, it tracks. They're deeper at tackle than they are at edge. So listing 3 interior guys who rotate heavily kind of reflects the reality of how they'll play. Plus, when you've got edge guys as big and versatile as Sweat and Odeyingbo running, 5-man fronts becomes more realistic, especially against the run. Behind them, you've got Austin Booker and Dominique Robinson as the top backups, with Terrell Basham and Daniel Hardy rounding out the 3rd string. And here's the thing. Booker has shown flashes lately, which is encouraging, but we've heard almost nothing about Dom Robb since the pads came on. That's a little concerning. If nobody in that second wave starts making noise, adding another. Edge rusher could still be on the table. Guys like Zadarius Smith and Jadeveon Clowney are still out there. Just saying. Over at quarterback, Tyson Bagent is currently listed ahead of Case Keenum as QB2. That competition has been under the radar, but it's clear the coaching staff is taking a long look at Bagent and giving him every chance to solidify his role. Then there's the running back room, where Kyle Monagai, who's had a solid camp, is still listed behind not just Roschon Johnson, but also Travis Homer and Ian Wheeler. That's a bit puzzling. Homer's value is mainly on special teams. He's not a real threat on offense. But again, it seems like the rookies are being told, you want it? Go out there and take it. At tight end, Stephen Carlson is ahead of Joe Wilson, which isn't too surprising given what we've seen. Carlson's name has come up more often during camp, while Wilson, after a strong spring, has cooled off a bit. The pads came on, and we just haven't seen that same level of production. And finally, Devin Duvernay looks locked in as the starting returner for both punts and kicks. That, more than anything, might be the reason he's holding on to a roster spot, even if he's not one of the top 3 or 4 wideouts. If nobody else proves they can be an elite returner, Duvernay's value skyrockets. Josh Blackwell is listed as the backup there, but it would take something pretty dramatic for him to leapfrog Duvernay in that department. So with all that, it's clear that this first depth chart isn't just a formality, it's a statement. Maybe not the final one, maybe not even close, but it gives us a real glimpse into how the coaching staff is currently viewing this roster. And whether we agree or not with every name and position, there's a method to the madness. Every line on that chart is like a message to the player in that spot. Either you've done enough to stay where you are, or you haven't, and the climb just got steeper. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL rumor mill has been buzzing with the latest whispers out of Chicago, where Bears head coach Ben Johnson may have lit a firestorm with just 5 words: he won't play for me. These pointed remarks, reportedly directed at running back DeAndre Swift, have sparked endless speculation among fans, analysts, and insiders alike. While no official confirmation has come from the Bears organization, the suggestion alone is enough to raise serious questions about the future of Swift in Chicago. This cryptic quote, if indeed true, represents a potentially seismic rift between a head coach and one of his most electric offensive weapons. The origins of this tension remain unclear, though some sources close to the team hint at lingering frustrations behind the scenes, possibly involving disagreements over effort, attitude, or commitment. Swift, known for his explosiveness and pass-catching ability out of the backfield, was expected to be a central figure in Johnson's offensive scheme. The idea that he might now be on the outs is sending shockwaves through the Bears fan base, which had high hopes for a revitalized offense this season. Whether this is a case of a coach drawing a line or merely a motivational tactic, the implications could be far-reaching if this rumor holds weight. As the speculation grows louder, insiders are beginning to piece together a timeline that may help explain the alleged fallout between Ben Johnson and DeAndre Swift. While neither party has made public statements elaborating on the issue, some close to the team believe this rift has been brewing for weeks, possibly even months. Rumors suggest that Swift, who was acquired with high expectations, may have clashed with Johnson's coaching style, one that demands discipline, precision, and unwavering buy-in from every player. Swift, a player with undeniable talent, but a history of nagging injuries and perceived inconsistency, may not have met the new coach's exacting standards. Reports of missed meetings, lackluster practice efforts, or subtle locker room tensions have yet to be confirmed, but they're adding fuel to the fire. For a Bears team attempting to establish a new identity under Johnson's leadership, the presence of any locker room friction could be viewed as a threat to the culture being built. If Swift is truly on the outs, it raises immediate questions about potential replacements and whether a trade or release is imminent. Regardless of what's fact or fiction, the rumor alone is reshaping the narrative around the Bears' backfield heading into the season. The fan reaction has been predictably explosive, with social media ablaze over the possibility that DeAndre Swift may no longer be part of the Bears' plans. For many, the idea that such a talented player could be dismissed so abruptly is baffling. Swift, though not without his critics, brought a level of agility and dynamic play that Bears fans were counting on to ignite the offense. Now, forums, comment sections, and talk radio shows are filled with speculation over what really transpired behind closed doors. Did Swift challenge Johnson's authority? Was there a disciplinary issue that has yet to come to light? Or is this all just a strategic leak designed to motivate the player or gauge league-wide interest in a potential trade? Some fans are defending Swift, arguing that he hasn't been given a fair shot, while others are backing Johnson, trusting in his vision to rebuild the Bears with a no-nonsense approach. As the rumor gains traction, the Bears organization remains silent, choosing not to confirm or deny the alleged statement. This silence only adds to the intrigue, leaving fans and analysts alike to wonder how deep the issues run and whether a resolution or separation is just around the corner. League executives and rival coaches are reportedly watching the situation closely, especially those in need of a versatile running back with game-breaking ability. If Ben Johnson's statement truly marks the end of Swift's tenure in Chicago, then general managers across the NFL may already be calculating whether they can swoop in and land a potential steal. Swift's upside, particularly as a dual-threat weapon, is well known. And despite any rumored issues with the Bears coaching staff, he's still viewed by many around the league as a difference maker when healthy. The possibility of a mid-season trade is now a hot topic among insiders, with speculative destinations including teams like the Ravens, Dolphins, or even a reunion with the Eagles. Still, there are hurdles to clear, namely Swift's contract, health status, and whether Johnson's stance is rooted in something more serious than just football. No matter how this unfolds, it's clear that a move involving Swift would shake up not only the Bears' depth chart, but also the broader NFL landscape. For now, this situation remains murky. But if there's one certainty in professional football, it's that rumors this persistent often carry at least a kernel of truth. At Hallas Hall, the mood is reportedly tense, with sources saying that players are aware of the situation but hesitant to speak on it. In the locker room, Swift's potential exit could be a signal that Johnson is willing to make bold, controversial moves to assert his authority and shape the roster in his image. Some see this as a necessary culture shift, one that prioritizes accountability and team-first mentality above individual star power. Others worry that alienating a key player so early in the regime could backfire, especially if the offense struggles out of the gate. This uncertainty has become a cloud hanging over training camp, where all eyes are now on Swift's participation or lack thereof. Will he be present? Will he be benched? Traded? The mere speculation is disrupting what was supposed to be a focused preseason. Johnson's quote, "if confirmed," may go down as the spark that ignited a pivotal moment in his tenure with the Bears. Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain. The rumor has already changed the tone surrounding the team. Whether Swift stays or goes, the Bears season will now be viewed through the lens of this controversy. And fans will be watching closely for the next twist in the saga. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.